We can expand beyond the types of charts available in application design using our visualizations. This app already contains a table and chart that display details about customer complaints, along with a couple of radio button groups to select the region and country the customers come from. To this, we'll add a couple of our visualizations that display a word cloud of common complaint topics, and then configure the radio button groups and selections made in the table to adjust the data displayed. We'll start by opening the Designer panel so we can review the settings for the existing widgets on the canvas. The Region Radio button group contains values for all regions, Latin America, Europe, the Middle East and Africa, North America, and Asia Pacific, and has a vertical layout and a label of region. The Country Radio button group has a similar layout and label, and values for all countries plus Mexico. The values displayed in this widget will change depending on the region selected, so they'll be loaded through a script that we'll define later. The canvas also includes a drop-down list that contains no values and is called Hidden Drop-Down Customer. This drop-down widget will be used to hold customer IDs and names selected in one widget so that they can be passed to other widgets, so it doesn't need to be visible on the canvas. We can set it not to show at runtime and hide it in the outline panel. The table, called Table Customer, is based on the Best Run Bike customer complaint model. The customer dimension is displayed in the rows and the account dimension in the columns. Filters have been added to show only the count measure and the actual category, and set the date range from January 2018 to November 2019. The table also has a ranking applied to show the top 10 customers. Meanwhile, the chart is set up as a bar chart that displays the count measure and the complaint category dimension, with the same filters on category and date as the table, and is called Chart Complaints. Note that the canvas also contains various shapes, images, and text labels. Now we can add an R visualization to the canvas. Here we'll create a word cloud that displays words related to customer complaints, sized according to the frequency with which they appear in the data source. The first step is to set up that data source as the input data. By default, the same model used by the table and chart is selected. We'll add the customer complaint dimension to the rows and add a filter to limit the results to 2018. Next, we'll edit the script. In the editor pane, we load the library with the word cloud package, get the words from the input data, determine the count for each word and check whether the word should be displayed in orange or gray, and finally generate the word cloud. When we execute the script, the word cloud displays in the preview. Back on the canvas, we'll edit the title in the widget and change the name to our visualization Word Cloud 2018. Now we'll duplicate the widget. Here, the title, name, and filter for the second widget have been changed from 2018 to 2019. Next, we'll add a radio button group so that users can choose to display the word clouds in orange or gray. We'll also update the name and change the layout to horizontal. Now we'll define the scripts for various widgets. We'll start by adding a script to the onSelect event of the table so that selecting a specific member filters the data shown in the chart and word clouds. Here, we declare a variable and assign it as the customer selected in the table, write that selection to the console, and then use the selection to filter the chart and our visualizations and edit the title of the chart. Next, we'll define what will happen when we select a value in the Region radio button group. Here, we get the value selected, clear the values from the Country radio button group and re-add the All option as the default, add the correct countries based on the region selected, and set the filter for the table, chart, and our visualizations to the selected region. Next is the script for the Country radio button group. Here we get the selection from the widget and use it to filter the table, chart, and word clouds based on the selected country. We also need to add a script to the Color radio button group to get the selected color and pass it as an input parameter to the scripts for the R visualizations. The last script we need to add defines what happens when the application is initialized. We get a maximum of 1,000 customers from the data source and load them into the hidden dropdown, which is used in another script to edit the title of the chart to reflect the selection of a specific customer. Now we'll save our changes and run the application. We can use the radio button groups to choose a new region and country and select a specific customer in the table to update both the chart contents and title and the word clouds. We can also use the Color radio button group to change the word clouds from orange to gray. Thanks for watching.